All right, good morning, everybody, and it's Wednesday, right, isn't it? Yeah, it's Wednesday. Hope you guys can hear me okay. I'm going to quickly check, actually, if the audio and visual properties are working here. Let me have a quick look at this. If you guys could confirm as well, that would be amazing. External, yeah, it looks like we're good. Quickly check here. Excellent. Perfect. All right, let's get started. I know we're a couple of minutes behind, so let's get started again. Good morning, everybody. Serge Berger here from thestudytrader.com. This is our morning call. If you're here for the first time, as always, please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's very important because it allows you to be updated in real time when we go live. That way you don't have to get all sorts of emails and things like that for this particular morning show. Also, please, as always, give us a thumbs up like. That will be very helpful. That way the algorithm picks up the fact that you're here and you like it and you're engaged, and that way we can continue to do this show going forward. So we're here on July 2nd. The first half of the year is gone. The second half has started. We're now in the month of July. And sort of in the depth of summer, but also it's basically now going to be summer markets for at least the month of July. What does that mean? It doesn't mean a whole lot in many ways, except that there may be thinner volume, meaning we could have an up market, we can have a corrective market, but more than anything, we're going to have less volume at the margin. Here now and probably in parts of a good part of August, at least traditionally. So that's one thing that I can tell you that's most likely to happen. If you look at markets here this morning, we are going to be talking about first we're going to go through the indices as we always do, S&P. Then there's a couple of individual stocks I'd like to go through with you guys. And then if you have any questions you would like me to address, please let me know. I want to quickly give you an update on my end. I mentioned this yesterday. I did yesterday close out my short position, my long position on 2-year yields, 2-year bonds. I was essentially long two-year bonds, betting that yields would go down. They have gone down. We closed that position early morning, so about 27 hours ago. Good thing, because now yields have jumped. I replaced that position with a long position in the dollar, as I mentioned yesterday. So basically, I'm basically short euro dollar futures. Euro dollar as in the cross pair, not the foreign dollar market. So I think the dollar could bounce. I don't know what's going to lead it to bounce, but I think it's oversold. So far, so good. The dollar index is up a little bit. The euro is lower a bit, and we'll see where that goes. The equity market, for its part, as we've been mentioning, the S&P continues to kind of push higher. I think it's important to understand that, at least in my view, that a lot of the rally that we saw over the past week or so was largely what you call window dressing on the part of fund managers that may have to have rebought certain stocks in their portfolio after having sold them earlier in the quarter. So for example, say like an NVIDIA, right? If a fund manager did risk management, which hopefully they did, they would have sold some of their mega cap tech stocks from a risk management perspective, which is something that you want to do if you're a professional investor, and don't just let it sit and hope and pray that it goes back up. Then from a window dressing perspective, to be able to show your investors that you still own that stock, you would have had to rebuy it at the end of the quarter, which would have been basically the past week and a half or so. So I think a lot of the rally over the past week and a half was based on that. That's this move. Of course, the financial media will tell you that it's based on everything but that it's just whatever amazing reason they can come up with. But I don't think it's much more complicated than that. The question, of course, is what happens now. I think that, based on the analysis we showed you guys yesterday, which is stocks like Microsoft, stocks like Roblox, which are to me some of the two most overextended in the near-term stocks, in the near-term time frame, I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see a bit of mean reversion here. I don't really know what happens beyond that, but that's where momentum comes in play. So if you were here, who was here yesterday morning? Give us a quick... Type in me, M-E, if you were here yesterday morning. And I gave you the following two charts. I'm going to reiterate them here this morning for you guys. So I showed you guys this basically this rising wedge here. This is just a technical part of it, right? In Microsoft, and I said that it would be quite likely that Microsoft could at some point start to mean revert. In fact, we just had a headline out of Microsoft that they're going to lay off about 9,000 people. Let's see what that stock is doing. Okay, so Microsoft now pre-market is down. Hardly down. So we talked about, okay, thanks, you guys were all here yesterday, that's awesome. So we could see that, and also we talked about Roblox. We talked about how it has a very, very steep and sort of, uncorrected move. Roblox ended up being down 4% yesterday. That's the move down yesterday in Roblox, RBLX. I think Roblox could go lower. In fact, what we mentioned yesterday is that the 8-period moving average, for those people that like to understand how algorithms work, the 8-period moving average, which on your screen right now is the blue line, that blue line has now broken. That blue line has now indeed actually broken for the first time since, let's say, April. So that's almost May, June, almost 3 months. And it is now broken. The question, of course, is how much lower does it go? We don't yet have a bearish momentum move. So for those of you guys that use our trend or momentum indicator, I can show you that Roblox is not yet at a point where it's giving us a sell signal. It's just all it's doing is mean reverting at this point. So to me, typically, what I like to do in a situation like this is I like to first put on a trade where I bet that the stock may be topping out. So I did that with Palantir yesterday, for example, right? So I'm not going to go outright short the stock because I don't have a momentum sell signal yet, right? What you can see here with Roblox is it's just coming down. It's not yet a sell signal. So like we got a momentum buy signal back in April, and the stock it then rallied as much as almost 80%. And at this point, it's not a bet that the stock goes lower as much as it is that it might consolidate. Once we have a sell signal from a momentum perspective, then it might be time to put on a directional trade. So, I did a couple of trades yesterday. For example, in Palantir, right? So Palantir is the same thing. Like I did what's called an options bear call credit spread yesterday, and we did this all in Trade Ops, by the way. If you're not a member of Trade Ops yet, it's our members area. We do all this in real time. What I did yesterday, I put on a bear call spread, basically betting that the stock isn't going to go, much above, sort of the recent levels, meaning I would make money as long as the stock stays below. Once I get a sell signal, once I get a sell signal, then I would actually go in and start maybe doing a directional trade to the downside. So that's what we're looking. The 8-period moving average also, and I appreciate the comment, Bill. The 8-period moving average, it works better on some stocks than others. It largely works well, and you can see it doesn't work very well for Palantir. It works well for extremely algorithmically driven stocks, right? So Palantir, in my view, didn't have nearly as much algorithmic behavior as something like Roblox, where they just bought the stock really with complete disrespect for what it was. Anyway, that's how that is. So that's that. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. And I'd be happy to elaborate a bit more on this. But is this helpful so far? Yes, give us a quick thumbs up if this is helpful. The next thing I want to do quickly is I want to go over a stock called WIN, WYNN. This, of course, is Wynn Resorts, big casino operator. And what I'd like to show you here is what we are starting to see from a momentum perspective. So the stock yesterday had a sharp rally. It was up almost 9% on the day. And it came on the back of basically really good traffic out of Macau. So China has its own Las Vegas. It's called Macau, and Wynn is a big player over there. So a lot of the casino players, casino stocks acted very well. Now, let me show you first what's going on in the long-term picture, and then we can look at the near-term as well. So this is the long-term weekly chart, okay? And what you can see here is if we were able to draw like a simple line, you can start to see on the weekly chart, if we have a bit of imagination, that this is starting to look pretty promising. This is the long-term weekly chart. We don't yet have a bullish trend. I should mention that as well. There's no bullish trend yet. The market rover does not yet have the stock in a bullish trend, but there is momentum. So I'm going to quickly give you guys a momentum move here in Wynn. In fact, let me just quickly show you this on the market rover so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is Wynn Resorts. And again, you can see it's not in a bullish trend yet. Otherwise, you'd have a green background color. It's just choppy. And yes, we had a big move yesterday, but it's not there yet. But in the near term, we do have a new momentum move. I mean, the stock yesterday rallied almost 8%. So in the near term, if we now use our momentum indicator, right, so this would be the TSD trender, we are going to look at WYNN, and I'm going to pull it up, and you can see that we now have a new buy signal, a new momentum buy signal. In fact, that momentum buy signal hit a few days ago, but we're now also clearing above the recent resistance point. So that's this point here. So now the next upside target for Wynn, all else being equal, should be somewhere around the low 100s, 107, 108. So basically, unless this momentum completely falls apart today, and that is possible, right? Then the next upside target should be somewhere around 5 or 6% higher from here. So another 5 or 6% to the upside in Wynn, just based off fresh momentum coming in. And so if you're using the trender indicator, the way you want to use this now, you can see that when we got the buy signal on the 23rd of June, we've now reached the free profit target. That's this green dotted lines. And we can now use the trailing stop. So the trailing stop now becomes this purple line, right? So if I bought the stock on the 23rd or even on the 24th of June, my trailing stop is now here at this purple line. So this is now a purely momentum trade. Does that make sense to everybody? Right? So this is a momentum trade right now. It's not a trend yet. It's purely momentum. It's just a momentum trade to the next upside target. Does that make sense? Right? So this is not like, okay, I'm going to buy a Wynn now and hold it for the next 6 years because Serge said so. First of all, that's not what I'm saying. And number two, I can't give advice. This is purely educational. But more importantly, it's just a trade. It's not a new trend, right? There's a huge difference between trend and trade. You guys all make sense of that, right? It's really, really important to understand. So that's something that's going on here in that world. And then I'll give you a couple of bonus things here as well. Let me just quickly point this out. United Health, we had an extreme oversold reading in United Health quite a while ago. Let me quickly show you guys with the Vertical X Pro here. So if you have the Vertical X Pro indicator, which tells us when a stock is either extremely overbought or extremely oversold, we had an extreme oversold situation on the 15th of May. And that was a very profitable trade. But now the stock looks like it's gaining momentum, right? So let's have a look at UNH and see, United Health, if there is a momentum trade setting up. And I can tell you, knowing the indicator, it's very close to giving us bullish momentum, right? Because the way trends change is typically you have a move to the downside, then the stock gets extremely oversold, like this one. And then at some point you have momentum coming into this. I'm looking at the wrong camera. I think the camera's here. And then at some point you have a momentum burst and then maybe a trend. So, a lot of people don't differentiate between these three things because they have no context. They don't want to learn. They just want a free trade so they can go on a vacation or something. that's usually a losing proposition. So right now, United Health, nice day yesterday, up about 4.5%. I'm long a bull put spread for those people that are in the chat trade op rooms, So now we've got this, but there's not actually any momentum just yet. There's no buy signal yet, as you can see. So once there is momentum buy signals, I might actually be able to get long the stock directionally. Buy a call, spread, buy the stock, whatever, right? It's not there yet. It's still basically, in the extreme oversold situation that's now working off, as I showed you here before with that. So extreme oversold, that trade, worked nicely. That was done at some point in early June. Now we're getting the next potential move with a momentum buy signal. Okay, so we covered a lot here today. We've now done almost exactly 15 minutes. Are there any other questions? I'm going to quickly just give people a chance here to ask any questions. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is July 3rd. Thursday, we'll do ticker Thursdays tomorrow. If you guys have any tickers, specific ones you want to look at, we'll do that. We do that on Thursdays usually. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do tomorrow. So any last questions? Happy to help. Otherwise, if you are a Trade Ops member, I'll see you guys over there. I'm sure there's some nice trades to do today. The futures in the equity market this morning are a bit weaker. We had some jobless data this morning, the weekly stuff that came in quite weak, surprisingly weak. We had some corporate data, Microsoft laying off people. Tesla looked like they had some shitty numbers just now. So we'll see what the day brings. But my view here is that the market's a bit overbought. In the short term, I wouldn't want to be necessarily like in any way majorly short, at least not yet. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. So Steve is asking SPY 623 Monday. I have no clue. I don't know, Steve. I can't make that call, to be honest with you. I don't know any algorithmic driven fund that can do that either. But I just go based on momentum in the short term. And right now in the short term, we had some sell signals in the indices a couple days ago. So I'm net short the indices, just the indices themselves. But I don't know for Monday, and I don't really have much interest in, honestly, in making that guess right now. I think it's too critical of a juncture. So anyway, thanks so much, folks. I'll see you guys over in Trade Ops, and please, again, give us a thumbs up, like, and subscribe to the channel. See you guys tomorrow.